Now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was gonna expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
And now you have to ask yourself, how did 50 come into the possession of Diddy's footage for Diddy's documentary about Diddy?
A lot of insight. And this documentary is about people being able to tell their truth or tell their version of the story.
For years, Katt Williams was labeled the loud comic who talked too much. People laughed at him, rolled their eyes, and kept it moving. But everything flipped in January 2024. When Katt sat down with Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay, the vibe changed fast. The internet didn't just laugh this time, it locked in and listened. Because suddenly, the things Katt was saying started matching up with real headlines and real drama playing out in public. Katt wasn't cracking jokes about comedy beef or backstage gossip. He went straight for the power structure. He spoke on lies. He pointed at an industry that survives on silence, and he hinted heavy that when the truth about Sean Combs finally spilled out, it wouldn't just be about one man, it would open doors people prayed stayed shut. Then came 50 Cent's documentary, Sean Combs, The Reckoning. The film hit hard. It laid out footage, timelines, and patterns folks had whispered about for years. But viewers caught something odd real quick. Some major names, missing, not mentioned, not questioned. Almost like they vanished. And that's where Katt slides back into the picture.
Def Comedy Jam 25. It's good to see so many funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. Is Katt Williams gonna show up?
Online chatter claims he wasn't shocked at all. Through jokes, interviews, and slick side comments, he seemed to hint that 50 Cent had to cut certain celebrities out. Not because the receipts were weak, but because the people tied to them carry serious weight. When Katt spoke in early 2024, he dropped one line that still rings loud today. He said there were untouchable people in the industry. Not 1, not 2, but 7. At the time, nobody really understood what he meant. 7 who? 7 what? It sounded wild. But months later, as Sean Combs' legal troubles started stacking up and that documentary dropped, people went back and replayed everything Katt said.
Check out this audio from Suge Knight. It's from his podcast with Dave Mays, and he's speaking on, Tupac and Snoop being cool and how, after Tupac got killed, Snoop started hanging out with Diddy. And, he also speaks on how, Snoop, he did the Steve Harvey show with Diddy after Tupac got killed. Check this out.
Okay. It's downloading right now.
Then you look at the scenario how everybody used Pac to make their stuff famous or make their project better. You got people who use their songs for Pac and tell them how much they love Pac, but they do songs for Puffy. You got Steve Harvey, old bitch ass, this motherfucker telling, well, Pac, according to everybody else, he brings Snoop and Puffy on there and say, these are dudes who's running this in the East Coast, West Coast.
What's up, Snoop?
What's up, Puff? Hey, whoa, wait a minute, fellas here, hold up. I know all about this East Coast, West Coast rivalry thing here, but we in Chicago now. This rivalry stuff, we gotta stop it, man. We stop that, we stop a lot of this violence.
Yo, Steve, check this, man. All that East Coast, West Coast stuff is a bunch of media hype. It's been my dog from day one, you know what I'm saying? It's all good between me and him. That's my peoples.
For real, that's what we came in for. We came in to light it up and ride it up. We made music.
Now, Pac, if you love Pac so much, how you with the mother they got something to do with the first get down that happened to Pac in New York, then the second one.
What you think about Suge comments? And I never asked you this before, but did you have an issue with Snoop hanging out with Diddy after Tupac got killed?
I always felt that was wrong. I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm talking about from that, like now, okay, you know what I mean? I'm 46, Snoop probably early 50s. If he figured out now he he might go by the opinion like, okay, Puffy had nothing to do with Pac. You know, we grown now. If he want to be his friend, no problem. But back then, that was just awkward. You know what I mean? And the reason why it was awkward to me that I never even like it because you knew how Pac felt about this individual.
This time, they weren't laughing. They were connecting dots. The theory that started bubbling up was simple, but heavy. The idea was that Diddy wasn't moving alone. He had protection around him. And some of that protection, according to online speculation, came from celebrities whose names are so big, nobody wants to challenge them head on. That's a serious shield. Katt never posted a list. He never clearly spelled out all 7. But the internet did what it always does. It filled in the blanks fast. One of the first names fans kept throwing around was Snoop Dogg. People pointed out that Snoop had openly talked for years about attending Diddy's parties. Not once or twice, but over decades.
You lying! You lying! You're lying! He's lying! He didn't even buy it yet! Listen, he's lying! Listen.
Old interviews, throwback clips, casual jokes. They all showed how tight those social circles were. Then online rumors tied to Ollie Carter started resurfacing. Allegations, old stories, nothing proven, but enough chatter to make folks ask why Snoop's name wasn't even explored in the documentary. According to speculation, bringing Snoop into it would have sparked major backlash, not just from fans, but from powerful industry partners too.
BET Awards went off without a hitch last night. A sense of that there. No, inside everything was fine, and outside everything was fine. And Kevin Hart decided that he was gonna make jokes about, well, I mean, he's the host, right? So you have to sort of roast a little bit about someone who's in the audience because, well, this person is in a prison, or actually right now sitting in a courtroom, and that's Diddy. Yes, he didn't say his name, but it was very clear to everyone who he was talking about here. Watch the reactions in the room.
Diddy was a big part of this culture. You know, his after parties, you know, were a part of the BET experience. So, you know, life comes at you fast, but, you know, Kevin had to address the elephant in the room.
By the way, we should say, the Diddy after parties that happen after award shows, that's not what the trial is about. Those weren't freak-offs. The trial is something separate, but still, nobody wanted to be seen as laughing at him.
Snoop Dogg isn't just a rapper. He's a full-blown brand, a businessman, a pop culture icon with layers of protection around him. For some people, that status alone makes him feel untouchable. Then came Kevin Hart's name, and that caught a lot of folks off guard. The online rumors focused on his early career connections, especially industry events people referred to as Flavor Camp, gatherings reportedly tied to Sean Combs and described as spaces for rising talent. Fans started digging through Kevin's old stand-up clips. Certain jokes suddenly hit different for some viewers. Not because they proved anything, there's no confirmation of wrongdoing, but because they made people wonder what he might have seen or been around back then. The tone shifted fast online. Speculation claimed that putting Kevin in that documentary would have caused serious legal waves. Too many film deals, too many studio contracts, too many business ties on the line. Again, nothing confirmed. Just a lot of unanswered questions in quiet spaces where curiosity used to be loud. And then there's Maze. Maybe the quietest name people bring up, but also one of the most interesting. His history with Bad Boy Records is public knowledge. Contract disputes, open frustration, and then sudden distance that had everyone watching closely.
What's going on with Kevin Hart?
I don't know, man.
Oh,
you know, the internet is going wild on him, saying that he was a curator and a narrator of one of the Diddy parties and got caught on tape. You hear that?
Wow. I didn't hear that one.
That must be one of your favorite. That must be one of your favorite comedians then. Cause you ain't hear that?
That was cool.
Huh?
I didn't hear it.
Get out of here.
It was cool, but I didn't hear that one. I must have missed it, man. I think I caught most of them.
I think he almost fell in the tub with one of the girls. Diddy had some girls in the tub, a tub of baby oil or something like that. And he almost fell in the tub. It was crazy.
You know, he would be one of the celebrities that I definitely wouldn't think would be involved in anything illegal. For sure.
But you gotta realize this, man. People who get caught up in certain those things like that, those parties and things like that, is that they don't go there looking for that stuff. You gotta understand, they get caught up in the moment with the alcohol, the drugs, and then certain bottles that are laced with certain things. that take you away from your normal self. And you end up probably doing something that you probably never do again in your life. You never get caught up in those things ever before. There are a lot of celebrities that go to these parties like this. And they not only Diddy parties. I went to a party before and You Can't Handle the Truth and King Kong Ain't Got Nothing on Me was at one of those parties. I was bodyguarding one of the girls. So what I'm saying is that it's rampant, and this was years ago. This was over 20 years ago. It's rampant in the music industry. It's rampant in Hollywood, film, pictures, and anything.
Tell you a story, Killer. I don't think I ever told you this story. This is what Puff taught me. One time I walked in when I was fresh off the streets. I got signed to Bad Boy. I had these fresh Air Nikes on, and then had on Air Nikes too, brand new. I made a mistake and stepped on his sneaker, and the dirt was on his laces, on his white Airs. I said, man, my bad, because I had stepped in some dirt. You know, the came back, put his feet in the dirt, and stepped all over my sneakers. I said, yo, what are you doing? He said, my bad. I said, yo. The moral of the story is, nobody just want to hear you say you're.
When allegations against Sean Combs went public, a lot of people expected Mase to say something. He didn't. And that silence, it turned into its own headline. Some fans believe Mase knows way more than he'll ever speak on publicly. Others think he's just choosing peace over chaos. But online speculation says his history was too layered, too personal, too close to the core of everything. Bringing him into the spotlight could have opened doors nobody could shut again. Then Meek Mill's name started trending after an audio clip leaked online. The clip spread fast. Social media went wild debating it. Some people brushed it off. Others took it seriously. Meek denied any wrongdoing, but once the internet grabs something, it runs with it. The talk was that if Meek had been directly mentioned in the documentary, it might have sparked legal drama, defamation claims, contract issues, media chaos that a platform like Netflix may not want tied to a release that big.
So Mase was told the day before the incident at the celebrity basketball game that someone was coming for Puffy and Biggie. And another line that Mase said that caught my attention, man, was him saying that never found the killer, why is there? How do you feel about him saying that? Because it sounds like he's referring to Biggie getting killed in LA, and Puffy, he's currently living in LA right now, and why does he feel so comfortable living somewhere that Biggie got killed at, knowing that they never found the killer and the murder is still unsolved?
Well, on all honesty, brother, you would have to ask him that. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm looking at it like that, then I know, you know, those mansions are heavily guarded, one. Two, he wasn't getting the love that he would get. I don't think he's getting love in LA. I don't know. He say he owns LA, he runs LA, he runs Miami, and he runs New York. So by him running LA, as he say he does, I would feel comfortable too. You know what I'm saying? If I knew for a fact that the person they got, and that was enough to call back all of everything, I would feel that comfortable too. But I wouldn't live there. I wouldn't go there. I'd do business and get on out of there if I was still afraid. I don't think he may have not ever been afraid. You understand? Because he never acted like he was afraid for whatever reason it was. I can't pinpoint it myself.
What's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
According to online chatter, this looked like content being trimmed for protection, not because the story lacked weight. Survival mode, not silence by accident. The most delicate names people whispered about were Justin Bieber and Usher. Both were connected to Diddy early in their careers. Old videos resurfaced. Interviews got reanalyzed. Moments that once seemed normal suddenly felt uncomfortable to some viewers. Years later, when Bieber showed visible emotion during tense paparazzi moments, speculation only grew. People started asking tough questions about whether young artists in the industry always have the right protection around them.
I knew back in the day that Meek Mills and Puff was a little too friendly. Anytime two rappers or two people in the industry come dressed up alike on more than one occasion, my man, listen here, man. My dudes in Philly, I got some real strong dudes in Philly. They don't play that. And they probably embarrassed for the fact to see that Meek Mills, one of the street guys that came out of there, got caught up in this Hollywood, whereas that he's dressing like, he dressing like Diddy, hugged up with Diddy. I think that Lil Rod know a lot of, but I know this. Two men dress alike, it's just like two men laying down. When they both get up, they both homos. And that's real talk, bruh. My man, you go to a party, dog, and the nigga got the same shirt you got on, I'm taking my shirt off. I'm walking around in a t-shirt. And then, not to blow Meek Mills up out the water or anything like that, it was said that they checked his Google search and all that, and he was searching for some online gay porn and all that.
Oh, wow.
Crazy, bro. But listen, those are what, you know, it's crazy that money, that lifestyle, and you trying to fit into something get you. These guys never set out to do all this. Meek Mills, when he got into the game, he didn't set out to be questioning about his manhood with Diddy. But he put himself in that position.
Like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So
This is where many believe the documentary stepped back. Not because the topic didn't matter, but because it involved sensitive situations and speaking publicly could risk causing more harm than good. So those names stayed out of it. Then there's Clive Davis. If Diddy was seen as a king, some fans view Clive as the architect, the gatekeeper, the power behind the curtain. His name carries serious weight in the music world.
They don't even bootleg. Yo, they don't even bootleg no more, man. So it's gonna be hard to figure it out if it does exist.
Do you believe the guy in the tape is white?
If he's bigger than Diddy, and he's not none of the names that I said, probably so. But then they say he was young too.
Yeah, they say he was young.
Let me get his name right. I hope it ain't the Bieber. I hope it's not the Bieber.
That's a good one. It might be him. But if they saying that the guy is young and he's an A-lister, I can't think of that many black people, man.
Right, not at all. And somebody that's more powerful, more of a celebrity than Diddy, you understand what I'm saying? If they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy, he was an A-lister, he was younger, you know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. That's his name, Bieber? They said I got that wrong too. Justin Bieber, allegedly. I don't know, bro.
Right. But when you heard the news that Diddy, he had a tape with another man, did that catch you by surprise or no?
Well, all this shit is by surprise to me. A lot of this shit is by surprise to me, to be totally honest, man. Because I knew Puff, I knew Puff Daddy, I knew Diddy before he was Love and Brother Love and back to Diddy. So, no, but the diddler, he's the diddler now. A lot of it's surprising, but it's not unheard of. Because you hear of all kinds of shit, and whether it registered with you or you internalize it or something like that, that's a whole nother story. But a lot of this stuff is crazy. But this is the world that we live in now, man.
So when people noticed he wasn't part of the documentary conversation, that absence spoke loud. Not because he needed protection, but because, to many observers, he represents the system itself. Including Clive wouldn't just spotlight one person. It would force people to question how the whole machine operates. And that kind of spotlight rarely gets the green light. Some online voices called that the real red line. 50 Cent responded to the chatter in his own way. He reminded everyone that documentaries come with limits, time limits, episode limits, and especially legal limits. But Katt Williams, through jokes and slick side remarks, seemed to hint at something deeper. According to speculation, the edits weren't just creative choices. People online floated ideas about legal pressure, distribution concerns, business risks, and the need to protect powerful figures or even to avoid harming individuals caught in sensitive situations. Nothing proven, just heavy debate. What really convinced some viewers that names may have been left out wasn't just who was missing, it was how familiar the pattern felt. Industry watchers have seen this script before.
Stacey Dash, Ray J, Clive Davis, how are they all connected?
I want to say Diddy, but I don't.
We're gonna be going through all of those possibilities.
Oh, okay. I wasn't supposed to answer. Okay.
And when we started LA as a graveyard, then, it was like, okay, we can't just say that anymore, especially after I took them up to 35 for us to film about what happened to Mo there. It's hip hop.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be moving on to Tombstone.
Okay.
And we'll be going through the unexpected, unusual deaths, unsolved murders, mysteries, things of that nature, things that I know, things that I'm directly connected to. We want to create this aspect because we want to start teasing people's minds into wanting to get these crimes solved, because the truth is, it seems like the hardest murder to solve in America is a rap murder. They just don't seem to get solved.
Without question.
That's a problem.
Without question.
Because we got over 35, 40 years of hip hop homicides.
Yes.
How many of them get solved?
They created a whole show. Yeah.
Unsolved hip hop mystery. Are you kidding me?
Hey. I have to ask you, you mentioned Clive Davis. They just showed him recently walking into somewhere, and they asked him about Diddy, and he said who? Is that old age, or does he not? They're not in the same world, or they're in the same world, but they're not cohorts.
He's definitely been his ex.
A scandal explodes, one person absorbs the heat, and the wider system quietly steps back into the shadows. After Sean Combs, the reckoning dropped, fans noticed how fast the conversation narrowed. The spotlight stayed locked on Sean Combs.
The people have been talking about for some time now. Alex, let me begin with you. The docuseries is entitled Sean Combs, The Reckoning. How is this one different from the others that have been out there?
Well, I think that the biggest marker of what makes this film or this series different is how much time we took into putting into the making of the film, doing our due diligence to get the right voices, to the table. This is a series that spans over 30 years. So just by covering that much time. It took a lot of time for us to dig in and to kind of make sense of this story and to put this timeline together.
Yeah, and there's like some never before seen footage that I'm going to talk to you about in just a moment. But Curtis, people know about this very public, long-standing feud that you've had with Sean Combs. So what brought you to this project?
Well, I just want to make really hit television. I like the idea of it being exciting, and I picked this project and started working on it about 5 months before I found Alex. And I know that she has the artistic integrity that it would take to make it a great project, and there's the Quincy Jones era of production is find me that bass player because he's the baddest man out there in Chicago, and find me that keyboardist and fly them in from Miami, and we put them in and have the greatest jam session they ever heard, and it just always resulted in great hit music. And I take that concept into television production.
You take that into everything you do, sir.
That's right.
You really do. And it really comes through, and appreciate that about you. As I said, never before seen footage of the days leading up to his arrest. Can you just talk a little bit about, was there anything that surprised you from that footage?
The footage, well, I mean, I think it's rare to find someone who's being, talked about all over the country. All eyes were on him, so to speak. And it was really interesting to see his last days of freedom, and what was sort of important to him. Obviously, there's phone calls with his attorneys, with his team. It was very interesting to watch a man who's known for his brand presence. He has a really amazing knack for marketing and all of that, and how he was sort of taking that into account in how he was coming off to the public, in the days leading up to his arrest and indictment. So that was interesting. It was also just interesting to see how laid back he was at times. But the footage also, in the footage we also see how he's getting incoming, lawsuits are dropping, and to get his real-time perspective on that was sort of jaw-dropping when we first got our eyes on the footage.
Was there anything that surprised you when you were watching the footage?
No, it didn't surprise me at all.
Because you've known him?
Yes, those behaviors, and I think it was surprising that he actually filmed it.
Yeah, and I want to ask about that, because how did you go about getting the footage, and do you know the intent of the videographer, why he or this person took the footage?
She's a journalist, right?
Yeah.
So she's not going to reveal her sources, so you don't have to reveal that.
Not going to reveal my sources, but I think that partnering with someone like 50, it was very much in the universe as to what we were doing.
It's a lot easier.
And just like that, the deeper questions faded out. People stopped asking who funded the events, who booked the venues, who kept showing up year after year, and who approved everything behind closed doors. Online researchers started comparing this moment to past entertainment scandals. The pattern looked familiar. Every time, one name becomes the symbol, the face everyone points at.
Paul was telling me on his way here, I didn't see this, but apparently there's another 100 hours of Diddy footage on the cutting room floor?
So Diddy is still doing press. I mean, Diddy. 50.
Diddy is not doing press.
No, he's
doing press on the yard.
He's doing press, like he's doing push-ups. No, 50 is still doing press, and obviously with the success of the Reckoning documentary, he's talking about there's more footage. There's 140 hours that he has, and each episode was only maybe an hour, I think. There was 4 episodes, so there's at least 130 something more hours that he hasn't edited or produced. And he's saying that he may put it out on YouTube, just to put it out there,
like on his 50 Cent Vivo page.
I don't know if it'll be on his page, but he just said, he doesn't know if he's going to release it with Netflix or through Netflix. He might just, put it out on YouTube or wherever, some other platform. But the one thing that he said that was interesting is, he said, because you see people out here trying to, say, oh, the documentary can paint a narrative, this, that, and the third. And his words were, if you see the rest of this footage, there will be no more, kind of like, oh, you can paint this narrative. It's pretty clear cut, the things that are being said. in the documentary, the things that he still can't believe Puff, because he says that a lot, like he can't believe Puff actually recorded all of this.
Yeah. But I mean, so why does 50 not put that, if it's that damning and that crazy, why not put it in the doc?
I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't put it in the doc. Maybe, you know, the stories, maybe he had more people that he would need to interview and have sit down for the documentary to kind of go through those stories that are in there. It could be a number of reasons, but the fact that he has over 100 hours of footage of, you know, personal footage and things like that leading up to the case, because the story is Puff felt like he was going to win the case.
Yeah.
And that this was going to be footage for his documentary that he would have released.
The redemption.
After the trial was done and things like that. So, you know, the amount of things that he probably was recording, you know, just going off of the fact that he felt like they were going to win the case.
Yeah. This is my footage and these guys aren't going to put it out.
Yeah.
Like all the crazy shit we're going to take out.
Right.
But I mean, even I did see who I think was the director of what Diddy was trying to do, had mentioned that he was on vacation or was out of town and had someone fill in for him. And that's the only footage that made it to the doc because that guy sold it. So maybe that director didn't pay the person to fill in, so he owned the footage and was able to give it away. But maybe all this other footage, 50 doesn't have permission to put out. Like,
okay,
he could have it, but the director's like, no, this is my footage. Like, you got the other because I had my mans fill in for me for 3 days, and he has that footage now.
Right.
So maybe that could be it. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like 50 is so petty that if it was that crazy, he would have just put in the doc. But who knows? I don't even want to speculate what is on the 100 hours.
Yeah.
After Lil Rod telling me what was going on, I don't know if I want to see it visually.
I mean, you know, and for 50 to say the footage that's on there is it leaves no more room for, you know, people to kind of say, oh, you know, the narratives are being created, it's false. For 50 to say that, I mean, you know, we can only imagine the footage that he's seen and that he has. So we'll have to see if any of that ever sees the light of day. I'm sure that, you know, Diddy's team is going to do everything they can to make sure that doesn't happen. But, you know, I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know if I need to see anything else.
A few shocking details are allowed to surface, just enough to grab attention. But anything that could link multiple powerful figures together, that gets labeled unverified, risky, or harmful to speculate on. And once that label sticks, the conversation cools down fast. This is where Katt Williams' words started sounding less like punchlines and more like a coded message. He never claimed the truth would disappear. He suggested it would be managed, trimmed, edited just enough to protect the bigger machine. People also noticed how quickly certain celebrities went quiet. Interviews canceled, posts wiped, old pictures gone without explanation. That didn't look like panic. It looked organized. The kind of quiet that happens when people understand how survival works in that world. Whether or not 7 names were ever removed, the reaction told its own story. Most weren't defending Diddy, they were defending distance. And when silence spreads faster than facts, that usually means the situation hit closer to home than anyone wants to admit. Katt Williams never called himself a hero. He called himself a truth teller. And truth tellers don't always speak plain when the stakes are high. Sometimes they talk in layers, in hints, in coded warnings. Whether that rumored list was real or just internet imagination, one thing feels obvious. Sean Combs' downfall didn't happen in isolation. It pushed open a door, and behind that door, an industry that still struggles to examine itself honestly. Now, the real question isn't just who might have been edited out, it's who will never be allowed to be named at all. That's the part that sticks. Because as Katt warned, some truths aren't hidden because they're fake. They're hidden because too many powerful people benefit from the silence. And if certain names were considered too influential to include, then how many other stories are still sitting in the dark? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you're rocking with this breakdown, make sure you like, subscribe, and share so you don't miss what's next. Tap in, stay sharp, and I'll catch you in the next one.